What's up guys, it's Manga Time once again, and I'm here today to bring you my review of Bleach 583, The Headless Star 2. Now, this is basically just a fighting chapter again. It's Ichigo versus the FemRitters, and not an awful lot happens, though we do get some nice characterization for a couple of the FemRitters, and obviously Ichigo gets a pretty major update at the end of the chapter, even if it's perhaps a little underwhelming. So the chapter starts off with all the girls firing their high-leg fire at them. Bit disappointing that we don't get to see what Askin's up to. So that's clearly playing a bigger role since it's been let off from the end of last chapter. And it's nice to know that all the individual arrows have individual looks to them, just like the bows. And yeah, they all fire arrows at Ichigo, and there's a huge explosion. Basically, you don't really see what happens, but Ichigo must throw Candice or something because she goes flying into a wall, and then Giselle, Meninas, and Little Toto will proceed to land on her, and they kick off her and stuff, and it's a funny dynamic. It is similar to the Tre Bestia. It is similar to mainly the Tre Bestia. The Sword 5 are similar as well, but we haven't seen them as much. So they all kind of jump away, and Candice is like, I know you're doing it on purpose, and you get some good. He gets some good facial expressions from Giselle, as usual. And the three of them are like, are you strong? And, Little Toto is getting annoyed because Ichigo's rejecting one of her arrows. Now, I thought right now we were going to see Bambietta, we were going to find out what Giselle did to her, because they're all kind of like, he gets on my nerves, he should die. And I kind of thought they were all going to do something. But no, Candice just activates her Vollständig. We don't get to see, we don't get its name. And, she says that, she's decided to kill Ichigo. I'm pretty sure she's going to do it anyway. But, all of them are kind of like, really? You're going to just go and try and kill him? And, we get this really great picture of Giselle in the middle. And once again, she reiterates that she thinks the Vollständig is too tiring. But, Candice is kind of just like, how can we stand in front of His Majesty after losing to Ichigo, basically. And she says, that if she kills him, then Yuharvok should make all her dreams come true. And we get a nice little bit of characterization for these guys. Meninas's dream is apparently to live in a really expensive house, I suppose. Little Toto's is to eat lots of food. And then, quite funnily, Giselle is salivating at the idea of nothing. She's like, it's just darkness. So, I kind of think that can be taken multiple ways for her, because she's the zombie. So, I don't know, either she loves the idea of darkness, or she loves the idea of emptiness and nothingness, that kind of thing. But I thought that was quite funny. Anyway, Giselle runs Ichigo, and Ichigo just kind of smirks at her. And she breaks off two of her wings and uses them as swords, which I thought was kind of cool. And we get some actually really nice panels here of really dynamic action. And I actually think I've seen a couple of people saying this fight's kind of boring. I don't really think it is, though, because I think the choreography used is really cool, actually. Even if Ichigo is basically overpowering her completely. Anyway, Ichigo's two swords, same as me, that's perfect. So, he's kind of talking down, he's talking down to her. And, Candice is like, yeah, I actually have 6 swords. She smashes him away, and then she flings one of those the blades at him, and it's Galvano Javelin. But Ichigo just kind of watches it, and then you see him, he kind of strokes the air with his short blade, and from that, he kind of activates Getsuga Juujishou and completely blocks her attack. So she kind of rages, and she lifts her hand up like that, and basically there's a massive surge of electricity that goes around her arm. And, she then uses an ability called electrocution, which is pretty cool. She gets the surge of electricity around her arm, pulls her arm back, and just swings it down on Ichigo. And there's a huge blast of lightning. But Ichigo just kind of intercepts the blast. He strokes the air with his short blade again, and you get this light kite in front of it, and then he swings downwards with his big blade. And we discover that Ichigo finally has a new ability, Getsuga Juujishou. And it's basically a Getsuga Tensho, but 2 Getsugas, and they're crossed like a vertical cross, a la Quincy style. And that's the end of the chapter. So literally, like I said, not a lot happens. It's all build up for Ichigo's new technique. What did I think of the new technique? I thought it was slightly underwhelming. But then Ichigo's attacks have never been that interesting. It's more the fact that he has a new technique at all that's the main point. But yeah, Getsuga Juujishou is pretty cool. I think it, I think possibly the more interesting aspect of this is the completely new way that Ichigo uses Getsuga Tensho. It's no longer a huge kind of swinging blast. It's more he just kind of strokes the air, and like he kind of summons the Getsuga from that stroke. Like I think it's interesting when he uses Juujishou that he swings the short blade and the light stays there, and then he just cuts down it. So what I kind of think happens is that he kind of summons the Getsuga in front of him, and then he smashes it away. So that kind of shows that he kind of has greater reishi control now. Whether that's just because he's becoming a proper Shinigami, or whether it's to do with his Quincy powers, is still kind of unknown. So yeah, there's not an awful lot to say really, because we don't actually get to see that much. A lot of it is kind of focused on Candice. A lot of it is focused on the FemRitters themselves. You don't actually see Ichigo a whole lot in this chapter. But yeah, so there's really not an awful lot to say. It's disappointing that we don't get to see Askin again. And I was expecting to see Bambietta, but we didn't see that. So really, it just kind of feels like Kubo is dragging this out a little bit. Since this fight is not really going anywhere fast. I don't expect this to kill Candice at all. Purely because that would just seem really weird if Candice got killed off. But Candice is getting the most screen time of the FemRitters, so if she did die, that might give the others a chance. I expect Giselle, if Bambietta does return, Giselle will kind of become a focus, I think, because she's the catalyst for whatever happened to Bambietta. I hope we get to see some Vollständigs from the other girls. I think that might happen next week. If they can even all do it. I mean, we know that Giselle can, but she doesn't really like to. But I would like to see them use that. But quite honestly, I wouldn't like. I don't really want this fight to go on much longer. I'm not finding it particularly boring. Like, I thought the choreography was really good, actually. Like, the way Giselle, I thought there was some nice ideas, like Giselle breaking her wings off her swords, hitting Ichigo, then doing the electrocution move. That was cool. Ichigo is just overpowering them, though, completely. So I wouldn't be averse to kind of this fight ending relatively soon. Although I do kind of think this fight's going to lead into something pretty major. It wouldn't surprise me if Yahavok arrived. It wouldn't surprise me if Uryu arrived. Just someone big arrives to kind of stop Ichigo, because these girls are not doing. They don't really stand a chance. Because it's kind of interesting to think about how like Renji and Rukia, despite their immense power-ups, they both had to unleash Bankai to defeat a Stir-Enter and Vollständig, Master Masculine and As-Not, respectively. However, Ichigo is overpowering Candice in Vollständig, and he's not really breaking a sweat in Shikai. Now, if 3 Stir-Enters used it in Vollständig, I don't think he's going to be pushed to use Bankai against these 4. But I think he would be, he might start struggling. That Candice is pushing him back a little bit, but it's not really in any way that's affecting Ichigo. He's just kind of going with it, and then he's attacking back. I would say he's toying with them a little bit. He has got a slightly different composure now. He's definitely more relaxed. He's definitely less prone to kind of outbursts, at least in the moment, anyway. So yeah, that's kind of it for the chapter, really, guys. The artwork was really nice this week. Again, like I think Kubo's drawing this fight really well. I can't really complain. And I have to confess that I'm actually starting to like the FemRitters. I still don't really like Candice and Meninas. Meninas has the personality of a plank of wood. And Candice is very recycled, but she does have cool attacks and cool abilities. But Lil Toto and Giselle are still actually quite enjoyable. But yeah, that's really the chapter. The artwork's really nice, but overall I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Because I don't think, not much really happened, and the artwork kind of carried it this week. Getsuga Juujishou is not that interesting, really. It's 2 Getsugas, man, and they're one on top of the other. It does look like a Quincy cross, but at the end of the day, I think that's possibly purely aesthetic. I'm not sure it's got anything to do with his Quincy powers whatsoever. Although, we might find out that the little sword is his Quincy, and the big sword is his Shinigami one, because we did see Hollow Ichigo and Old Man's and Getsu standing over those ones respectively. So, who knows? I think we need to know more, really. Right now, it's complete speculation. But that's it really for this week, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I kind of want to I want to come up with a question of the week, but like not much happened this week, so it's really kind of difficult to say. I don't really question of the week. No, I'm not really sure, to be honest. But comment of the week though, because you guys left some pretty awesome comments last week actually. Mainly picking up on the fact that the special war potentials were brought back. So my comment of the week this week is from Shamir15, who basically says, "I'm glad the special war potentials, just the war potential angle was brought back. If Ichigo is SWP1, I wonder, does the order have any significance?" Now that's the kind of the main point I wanted to bring up, because I think I mentioned in my review last week that I'm almost certain Yuhavok originally called Kenpachi in the special war potential number 1. Now, was Kenpachi stronger than Ichigo at that point? I'd be very surprised, because Kenpachi hadn't had his Unohana training yet at that point. Unless I'm wrong, and Yuhavok didn't say that, but, I think the order possibly doesn't. Well, it does have some significance in the fact that I get the feeling that that's the order that both the Vandenreich are worried about them, and that they feel they should deal with them. So Ichigo is the one they're most worried about, the one that they need to take out first. He's kind of like target number 1, basically. I think that's what that means. But he also says that he's dying to know who the last 2 are, because they have to be on par with Ichigo, Aizen, and Kenpachi. So thanks for your comment, Shamir. Great comment. And yeah, I'm dying to know as well, to be honest. I don't really know how Kubo's going to reveal it, because he revealed like 3 of them straight away, and then he just hasn't done anything for a while, so it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's it. Once again, that's it, really, guys. Comment of the week. Let's just go with something really simple. Do you think the other 3 girls will use Vollständig, and if so, what do you think they'll look like? And actually, this one's just come to my head, and it's possibly even better. Do you think someone major is going to show up to kind of end this fight, a la Yuhavok or Uryu, and who do you think it's going to be, and what they're going to do? So that's it really this week, guys. 7 out of 10 for me, and I shall catch you next time for the next review. See you then.